Okay, that's good. Bring it back.
Go to the left. No, not your left. The trailer's left.
Wait. Whose left are you talking about? My left or your left?
So you need to go right for the left. Can you hear me? Is this... Whoa, stop.
Give me clear instructions.
Stop, what are you... Stop.
Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, we do all kinds of things, including RV and travel videos. Now, there are a lot of videos on YouTube about how to back up your RV or travel trailer, but this one has a sense of humor. Now, if you saw yourself in the opening skit, don't worry, it's a common scene at RV parks and campgrounds. Well, without the falling and the crashing and the screaming. The first step to backing up your trailer is to be single. Just kidding, I love my wife. Most people would probably say the first step is to practice, and they're right, but I think real-world experience is always the best teacher. When we first started, we had this much experience. The easiest way to back up a trailer is not to. At many RV parks and campgrounds, you can book pull-through sites, but look at what this jerk did. He took too sharp of a turn and the trailer wheels ran over the grass. Try not to be that kind of jerk. But be aware, pull-through sites do cost more than regular backup sites, unless the RV park is only pull-through sites, but that's kind of rare. Before we proceed, you need to understand trailer dynamics, and I'll try to explain it to you as simply as possible, because you're probably a man-child who loves to spend a lot of money on adult toys like jet skis and RVs and smokers and arcade games, etc. When driving in reverse, turning the steering wheel to the right will cause the trailer to move to the left. Turning the steering wheel to the left will cause the trailer to move to the right. This counterintuitive relationship requires practice, practice, practice. And I said that 3 times so that you'd easily remember it. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. The advice you'll hear most often is to grip the bottom of your steering wheel with your hand and move it in the direction that you want the trailer to go. But we'll stop using left and right because I think that's going to confuse the heck out of everyone. If you want to reverse the trailer toward the driver's side, turn the wheel toward the passenger's side. If you want to reverse the trailer toward the passenger's side, turn the wheel toward the driver's side. Let me just make a quick shameless plug here. I made a handy dandy little reference sticker that you can order on Redbubble and they'll ship it to you. You can place the sticker wherever you want. I'll put a link in the description for that. If you can't secure a pull-through site, you're either going to have a diagonal site or a perpendicular site. If you have a choice between the two, I'd recommend the diagonal site. The problem with the perpendicular site is it requires a lot sharper turns, so if you're not careful, you might actually run your rear bumper into your tongue box. Now, let me just quickly mention the S-turn. The idea is, upon approach, you make an S-turn. By doing so, you've basically angled the trailer into the perfect position, which allows you to then reverse it back into your spot. The disadvantage of this technique is that it robs you of room to maneuver the nose of the truck as you're backing in. But the lanes at RV parks and campgrounds are often narrow, and they don't give you enough room to make the S-turn. Even worse is when people crowd the lanes with their vehicles. If you need to pull into your site but you can't because of cars, I just recommend that you kindly ask your neighbor to move their car. In most cases, if they're there, they're happy to do so. Recently, we stayed at an RV park with narrow lanes and there were parked cars all along it, and it just would have been too much trouble to try and track them all down and ask them to move. So, in that case, the easiest thing to do was to go to the office and ask them for a different space. So you can do that, and in this case, they did have one, and it was much easier for us to back into. It didn't have that same problem. And by the way, if there's anything that you see in your site that needs to be moved, just move it. A picnic table, a trash can, even a dog. Move it the heck out of there. There's no rule that says you can't survey your site before parking it. In fact, it's often wise just to do kind of a slow drive-by. This isn't a step, it's just another tip. If you're a newbie and you're having difficulty backing into your space, nobody cares how long it takes you or how many attempts you have to make, okay? Nobody. So long as you're not backing into people or their stuff, they don't care. They're just minding their own business. Step 2. Finally, how to back into a diagonal site. Where possible, approach the site on the driver's side. That way, when you start to back up, you have a full field of view out of your window at the trailer. Keep your vehicle and trailer as close to the site as possible. Pull forward until the back end of the trailer is just past the end of the site. If you start reversing with too much of your back end already in the site, you're going to quickly run out of room. If it helps, you can use 2 cones to mark out where you want the back of the trailer to end up, and, perhaps more importantly, a 3rd cone to mark your pivot point. The pivot point is the ideal spot to curve the trailer into your site. Note, as you reverse, your trailer's hind wheel should be turning into your site just prior to the pivot point. To perform the cutback turn, grip the bottom of the wheel and turn the wheel toward the passenger side as you slowly begin to reverse. Once you've angled the back end of the trailer in the proper direction, unwind the turn by steering the wheel into the opposite direction. Keep an eye on the nose of your truck, as you certainly do not want to hit anything. In addition to your backup camera, check your mirrors to make sure you're clear. You can always stop to readjust your mirrors along the way for better views. If the trailer ends up crooked on the pad, simply shift into drive, pull forward as much as possible to straighten out, then reverse again while making your corrections. But there's no rule that says you have to be parked perfectly straight into your site. It really just depends on what you're comfortable with. At the very least, you want to make sure that you have enough room for your slide or slides to come out and your awning on either side. It's always a good idea to have a tape measure handy. On our tape measure, we've actually marked out certain things. Like for instance, this is how wide the slide is when it's fully out.
Say, fellas, is your wife out of town? Are you missing your sweetheart, your co-pilot, your backseat driver? Well, have no fear. The Acme backseat driver is here. Simply place it on your dash, and built-in GPS will activate its voice feature via Bluetooth.
Hey, slow down, mister.
I'm doing 30.
Any faster and we'll travel back in time.
The speed limit's 35.
Did you hear me? It's too fast.
It also comes in a minority version.
Take the next right before I break my foot off in your ass, motherfucker.
And who could forget dear old Mom?
The boil on my foot's been bleeding for 3 months.
What does that have to do with driving directions?
The doctor said to soak it in warm water.
Where's the restaurant?
You passed it 2 blocks ago. Little Muffy's been drinking the blood water.
The Acme backseat driver, only $19.99 excluding tax and shipping. Collect them all.
Step 3. How to park in a perpendicular site. It's pretty much the same thing as a diagonal site, but your turns are going to be much sharper. Once positioned, perform the cutback turn slowly and sharply. Be careful not to hit your tongue box with your rear bumper. As you unwind the turn, be mindful of your truck's nose. You don't want to hit anything there either. Now you'll notice that the trailer isn't perfectly straight. That's fine. Simply pull forward and make your adjustments.
Pepper, get over here. Come on.
I realize there's a huge difference between theory and application, but like I said, out in the real world, you're going to learn these things and learn them fast. Every little mistake that you make is going to be a teaching moment. Remember that. And here are a few more tips. Buy a pair of walkie-talkies. We bought this pair on Amazon and they work reasonably well. Some people like to use their cell phones, and we've done that before, but realize that cell reception usually sucks at RV parks and especially at campgrounds. The only word you're allowed to shout at any time is stop. If you're shouting everything back and forth to each other, it's really easy to lose your cool. If you're flying solo, don't be afraid to ask an attendant or an employee to give you help backing up. At some places, in fact, like a KOA campground, the attendants usually will automatically help you. But if you're really alone, try to orient yourself so you're backing up towards the driver's side of the vehicle. That way you'll be able to see the site and the trailer much better from your driver's side mirror. And finally, if you have the option for a backup camera, get it. I'll drop some more links in the description to my favorite backup videos if you need more reference. But in the meantime, practice, practice, practice. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Like.